So let's give you a little tour here while the truck's empty. Walk in the truck. This is audio. This is where the A1 Josh sits. We are a 5.1.4 show. So we've got the regular 5 speakers. Then the subwoofers down there. And then we had 4 overhead speakers. When you say, Rob, there's more than 4 speakers up there. But these other speakers, since the audio guy has to hear what's going on in audio, his comm panel actually goes to the overhead speakers so he can hear the director and the producer overhead without having to wear a headset that would ruin his mixing capabilities. These are all his aux inputs for the MADI into the audio system. Patch bay. And if we come out of audio, this is production. It's a little quiet in here because the truck just came up. This is the AD's position. This is where Melissa sits. Melissa times the show, makes sure that we fit the time slot that Fox has given us, and also make sure that all the elements fit in, and then also is watching tape machines during the show to make sure that we get all the coverage we need, and then help sell stuff to the director and the producer. You can see the monitor wall they share. You can see all the tape machines. So things like blue, red, 82, 83, XY, those are all tape machines, so they can see the inputs and say, oh wow, that shot of John Force's car on fire looked really good on red and really good on 82, so let's take the replay from those. And then here's where the producer sits. This is Steve's position. Steve is watching the overall tone of the show and the storylines of the show, and then passing them on to the director, which is Chris, who sits here. And you can see in front of Chris is all the actual live cameras. He can also see the tape machines in front of the AD and the producer, but mostly he focuses on what's happening live, so he can tell the technical director, who sits in front of the switcher, what to push the actual button to put on TV, including tape machine, graphics, cameras, whatever. The monitor wall's a little dark right now because there's no sources up, but usually this is filled with tons of cameras, tape machines, etc. If we come back here to the back bench, this is Todd, our pit producer's position, and he's watching all of the remote cameras, the RF cameras, and the jib, because that's where all the interviews would come in. So he's selling what interviews to come to next, and then also talking to the interview, the people who are doing the interviews in the field, so Amanda, Bruno, Jamie, and then helping them develop storylines based on what's happening during the day. This is the coordinating producer position. It's funny, we're the NHRA on Fox, but this is the only position of the person who actually works for Fox. So his job is to be our liaison between the network and us and the show. He also will fill in and occasionally produce shows like he's doing this weekend. And just has multiple hats that he wears in the truck, and then also works with Brian to keep the stats coordinated and helps sell those during the show. This is the tech coordinator position. This is where I sit during the show. You can see I have access to resources, so I can see multiple things going on. I usually keep an eye on the cameras to make sure everything's good there technically. I don't know if you can see this. This is my router panel. It's a little bright here. Let me see if I can kill the light here, if that helps. Nope, that makes it way worse. But I essentially have I have a panel that gives me access to everything in the truck so that I can watch it and make sure it's all electrically proper. Then my double stack key panel here so that I can talk to anyone in the truck on headset. This is we call this the TX VIP. So each one of these, this is what's being sent down the primary fiber. This is the backup for the live view, which is an internet-based transmission. And then these are what we call our special projects VIPs. So right now, this is the VIP that's feeding a project that we're doing with Dolby, and then this is a project that we're doing with Bebop. and then net return is what's coming back from Fox. So depending on what show we're doing, I can talk to Fox and have them send us different stuff back. And then a program monitor, so I can see what's going on at the front of the truck. And then this will stack up and tell me what is going on with the tally system and the switchers, so that I can see, oh, he's got font 1 on, bug 1, whatever machine is live, and then any kind of overlay he has on top of any of that. And then down here, I have Gold, which is our primary record source, and Elvis, which is our primary playback source, so that I can see what they're doing, if they're being fed down transmission, or if I can see what Gold's doing to build the next segment of the show. If we come around the corner, this is the tape room. There's never been tape in this tape room. It's always been EVS based, but it's still called tape because, you know, TV people are weird like that. Each one of these machines has multiple configurations. Right now we're in 8 in, 4 out. So each machine has 8 inputs and 4 outputs. Each operator is responsible for a different set of cameras or sources. And then at a moment's notice, they can watch back a source or record a source or be building a package for a source and be able to play it back to air. This is what colloquially referred to in sports TV as the instant replay. But it's much more than that, because it can also be a playback system and an archive system. And then it's also the same system that at the end of the day, all the great clips from the air get sent through. It's not on right now because it's being fixed. It's the EVS, which goes through the X file, and then that's how we get stuff out of the truck to be used other places. And then this is the super slow-mo. This is what gets all those great shots of stuff exploding, stuff breaking on the track, but then also just the really cool runs with like the header flames and all that coming out. That camera's run by Chris Peacock, who's been doing this for probably as long as I've been alive. And he is one of the best super slow-mo camera operators on planet Earth. Then over here next to tape, this is engineering. This is where the engineers keep the truck going during the show, and Chick-fil-A keeps the engineers going during the show. They have access to all the router inputs and all the router outputs. This is the actual router from Evertz. This is what keeps all the video sources going in and out of the truck. And then a QC station here, so they can make sure that the video signals are doing what they're supposed to do in and out of the truck. Power conditioning, so they can see the status of all the power coming in and out of the truck. And I am not lying when I say it is freezing cold in here. Come around the corner, and this is video. Video is responsible for video, hence the term. They have access to all the cameras. They control the cameras, make sure the cameras look right and are the right colors, the right brightness. They do that through the use of a luminance and a vector scope, and that tells you these are the electrical representations of brightness and the electrical representation of color. And then people always ask, what's that crazy rainbow pattern? Well, that crazy rainbow pattern is actually something that was come up with when color television was developed to make sure that we can reproduce all these signals properly. So you see gray, the primary colors, red, blue, green, and then each one of those hits one of these targets. That's blue. So if that is right there on the vector scope, I know that that blue is exactly the color blue it should be. And the same with all the other targets, make sure that these are being reproduced exactly, precisely correct. We'll continue the tour next door in the B unit. All right, here we are in the B unit. We'll start over here in submix. This is where everything that is not a person talking gets mixed into the TV show. This is a Calrec Suma console made in England. This room is what mixes the surround sound portion of our show. So again, we have the normal 5 speakers. And then we add the 4 overhead speakers, just like in the other booth. But again, this is just mixing what's referred to as effects sound. So this is the submix room. It gets very loud in here. This is the Intonato controller. This is one of the industry accepted controllers that determines what speakers go where. So you can see 5.1, then you have your overheads and the surround sound outputs. Come in here, this is the B control room. This is venue control, so anything you see on the big screen in the venue comes out of here. It has access to all the sources that the primary switcher in the A unit does, plus they add a few sources for playback, so they can do their own replays and commercial spot insertion from this space. Step through here. This is the graphics department. So this is the primary Viz. We use all VizRT because that's what Fox specs for the show. So the Viz operator has all their sources in front of them so they can see what they're doing. They can also watch the cameras to know if there's an interview coming up, see if they need to have a font ready or something like that. This is the bug box. This is what generates the lower thirds there that say who's racing and what their times were. This also generates the results font for who wins the race. This also generates the bug for the race. This is SMT. SMT is the group that invented the virtual down marker for football. They do our virtual finish line, and we call the carpets. So they do a lot of our sponsor elements. This is the rack that runs all of our graphics, including SMT. This is engineering for the B unit. So this is where they control all the inputs and outputs from this. There's a small router over here that handles this side of the truck, and then there's about 70 tie lines that go over to the A unit so that they can hand stuff back and forth fairly seamlessly between the trucks. This is the feed room. Scott, our editor, sits here, and from the other side of EVS where the other tape room is, he's taking all the finished product that we create through production in here. He runs the machine called Gold. It has the back channel of silver, and he's essentially linearly, non-linearly editing the show. So he takes a 12-hour race day and makes it 3 hours on television. And then this is the feed space. This is where the show goes. After Scott finishes a clip, he sends it over here to this EVS, which is Elvis, and this back channel is Lisa. And then Elvis sends it off to be fed down to Fox. And I don't know if it's why it was called this, but I think it's because when it's done, you can say Elvis has left the building.